Yeah.
You are listening to The Black Landscape with Andrea Spearman, where Black excellence is always trending. Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Andrea Spearman, and this is The Black Landscape, where we engage with emerging and established Black leaders here in the San Francisco Bay Area and beyond. Thanks for tuning in. For our first-time listeners, we have moved over to Patreon, where for $5 a month, you'll have access to full-length episodes of the podcast, giveaways, behind-the-scenes content, exclusive merch, and more. Subscribe today over at patreon.com/theblacklandscape. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, make sure to leave a 5-star review of the show before you join us on the Patreon. I'm a light-skinned Black woman with big red curly hair. Today, I'm wearing my yellow and black Afro Comic-Con t-shirt with the African warrior drawn on the front, which coincides with my guest today. Welcome, pop culture critic Michael Simeon, widely known as the Black Gay Comic Geek. Woo!
Yay! Thank you for having me.
And also, drop your tagline.
Yeah, it's Black Gay Comic Geek all over social media, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, all of it, everywhere. Black Gay Comic Geek. And I am a brown-skinned Black man with no curly hair, bald hair, a bald head, wearing what I usually say is my tagline on all my shirts called "Welcome to my safe Gayven," which is what I say in all my videos, because I want people to know this is a safe space for Black queer nerds and allies that loves to discuss fandoms and comics and fantasy, etc. I even have a tattoo. It's my very first tattoo. Welcome to my safe Gayven. I got it like two years ago.
I love that for you. I do
have a trademark. So anybody's like, "Ooh, I like that," you can't call my lawyer. You can't take it.
He said, "Don't try it."
Yeah, don't try it.
Like, spread the love, not stealing.
Exactly.
Yeah. So as I start with all my guests, we start from the very beginning. Where are you from? Where did you grow up?
So kind of like you mentioned in the start of your intro, is like the San Francisco Bay Area or beyond. This is the beyond portion of the episode, because I am born and raised in New Jersey. Born in Newark, New Jersey, and grew up in like East Orange, New Jersey. Went to performing arts schools all my life. Like I went to the Washington Academy of Music in elementary school, the Cicely Tyson School of Performing and Fine Arts for high school. Yeah, for high school. And I went to a music conservatory for college, the Westminster Choir Academy of Rider University, but then I hated it because it's mostly because I grew up in mostly like Black communities and Black areas. Like all my teachers, and I realized, and I didn't realize until I got much older how privileged I was, because like I had Black teachers, Black women and men, not just women. I had Black principals, like everywhere in my surroundings, like I was just surrounded by, Black excellence, more or less. The principals, the Board of Education, we had a Black mayor, like all of it. And so then when I went to the music conservatory, Westminster, it was like mostly white people, like majority. Like you're just like a speck of pepper in like a sea of salt. And like dealing with that, like for me, it was a bit of a culture shock, but then also dealing with like the some of the racism behind that I noticed that was going around. I was just like, I can't do this. So the very next year I transferred to Florida A&M University, which is FAMU, which is an HBCU, and I loved it.
I gotta get back with the Blacks.
Yeah, I had to. And then like allowing that to, develop in my formative years helped me, get out into get focused on my identity, then helped me as I got into the real world, the quote unquote real world. Cause the real world is all white people, most, at least in America, in America.
Exactly.
So that's my education. But in terms of like how I started as Black Gay Comic Geek, which is obviously what we're here for, my origin really started out as like horror movies. Like I always grew up, I loved horror movies from when I was a kid. Whether it was like the Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, Lost Boys, Chucky. Like when I was young, I always wanted a Chucky doll.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother's from Trinidad, and especially like Black parents, period. They're like very superstitious. So my mother's always like, "Hell no, you ain't bringing that dumb thing in my house." So, like, I've always just known, despite it being like horror and like I always knew it wasn't real. So like I've always had that discernment. Like it never scared me. And then horror movies ended up translating into like superhero movie or superhero cartoons with like X-Men the animated series, Spider-Man, Power Rangers, and things like that. My nerddom just continued to grow from there. And then Buffy the Vampire Slayer came out on March 10th, 1997. And then that's what really developed me in terms of like a nerd. Like that's what made me want to start writing and everything and everything like that. Like, but I wouldn't be Black Gay Comic Geek if it wasn't for Buffy.
Oh, see?
Yeah.
See that affirmative action, white women helping you.
Facts. It's one of my biggest complaints is Buffy ain't had no black friends.
Hello? Right. Like, like in the whole school, not
even just the whole school, the whole town, like
the whole town, just no blacks until Kendrick came along.
And it's like a fantasy town, like it's fantasy, like you could put. They were like, anybody. Oh, well, it's a small town. It's probably to make sense. No, it's fantasy. You can make whatever you want. But anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. We could get into that. But that still is what like developed my form, like really developed like my nerd and my passion for like fantasy genre and things like that. And then one day as I got older, because I went to school for theater, like I got my degree in acting, like that's what I wanted to pursue. I always knew that my purpose in life is to, my purpose in life is to entertain people and to also, push a message and everything like that. But one day, somebody that I knew, he had his own podcast and we were friends. And he went to go, I hit him up one day. I was like, hey, do you want to go see John Wick 2? And so we went to go see John Wick. And then he was like, I kind of want to talk about this on the podcast. Do you mind, since I obviously went with him to see it, do you mind being guest hosting with me? And I was like, sure. I've never done anything like that before. But, like I said, I've always been into stuff and I've always had strong opinions, but I've never like put it out there like publicly. And so we recorded the episode. I was super nervous, but he was just like, I really like the chemistry that we had. I want to have you on for more, as a guest future on. But then, as time went by, I hadn't heard from him. But then one day, a couple months later, the co-host that he had on his show, he wanted to, they used to record like once every couple of months, but he wanted to commit to a more regular schedule. So he wanted to do like once a week and they couldn't commit to that. And so he hit me up and was like, hey, Michael, I want to have you back on, not just as a guest, but I was thinking of maybe having you on as a permanent co-host. Can you commit to this schedule? And I was like, oh, yeah, sure. I don't mind, And so I started doing it with him every single week. And I was just like, I really like doing this. Like, I really enjoy doing this, especially getting the reaction from the audience and people saying that, oh, yeah, I love Michael on the show. Like, I discovered a new way of entertaining people. And then eventually I started changing my name. I changed my name to Black Gay Comic Geek. And we were recording for like 4 years. But then after the pandemic, the podcast kind of fell off. But then I started doing my own thing. And so here I am. So that was my long answer of explaining my origin.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I wanted to hear. And, it's so funny because like, you said you got your start, like, being a huge fan of horror movies. And I know you talked about Sinners at length, but, like, there's been some argument, like, is it really a horror movie? And I'm like, just because it has vampires in it, or what makes it a good horror film?
I mean, it is a horror movie.
I haven't had the chance to talk about it with any, like, black nerds, so I want to talk about it.
It has vampires in it. So, yeah, it is a horror film. It's not the traditional... The horror is an umbrella term, and there are different genres within horror. Like you have your slashers, you have your thrillers, you have your, psychological thing, but it's still under the umbrella of horror. So it being a vampire movie with blood and gore, it's a horror movie. And I even confirmed this because one of the episodes that I did a live review of Sinners with a friend of mine, Dr. Kenitra Brooks, who is a horror scholar And so don't take it from me, take it from the actual horror scholar, people that have their doctorates in it. Even she said
That's
it's a
wild.
horror movie.
That's what. First of all, I didn't know you could be a scholar in the horror.
Yeah, I mean, you could be a scholar or anything as long as you
Listen,
got.
black folks be doing stuff.
We always find a way. Yeah. So her focus is like Black women in horror, but she is a horror scholar, and so she teaches at Michigan State University. So you can look her up, Kenitra Brooks. But yeah, she confirmed that Sinners is horror.
That's so funny because, you know, like you were saying, like I feel like people like think of horror and it's like slasher films immediately, and like nothing and everything else is just kind of like fantasy or like magic type of
And like I
films.
said, slashers are a genre or a facet of horror, but there are different parts. There are different types of horror.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just, but that film was so amazing, and you know, at this point, it's been talked about by any and everybody. But it's
Agreed.
You know,
Like, granted, obviously, we should have movie because nowadays everybody wants to franchise everything, and part of me is like, I want more. But like I'm good. I'm good if it's one and done. But at the same time, it's like I want to see like the Native American vampire hunters.
yes.
What's their backstory? Like I want to know Remic's backstory of like when he first became a vampire like 1,000+ years ago. Like there's so much that they could do. But part of me is like, even though I kind of want it, part of me is also hoping that they don't.
Well, what I know, because I've seen like, you know, user created timelines like how they have for Marvel of like Sinner's origins, Sinner's the smokestack stories, and I'm like, I don't think that's real, y'all. Like these are user created.
None of
Ryan
it.
said he doing a whole multiverse.
Yeah, no, none of it is real. It's just people hoping. Like even people saying like, oh, they want to smoke and stack like prequel of them in Chicago.
Yeah, but I'm like, I feel like just imagine in your mind.
Yeah, just imagine in your mind. Because then also like if all these subsequent movies or TV shows or spinoffs are not that good, like if they're terrible, then it kind of dilutes Sinners.
True. I think I would be excited for like an animated version of like the Smokestack adventures.
I mean, animated would be cool, but then also like considering the story, because Smoke and Stack mentioned that they never seen vampires before this incident, or Smoke mentioned like I've traveled the world, I've been to Vietnam, I've done all this, and you gave me this little pouch or whatever for protection. I ain't never seen nothing that would make me believe this is real, and so in some ways, it will kind of diminish the supernatural element of the world.
True. I didn't think about
what that. I want to, at least what I want to, that's what I want to see. I want to see more supernatural, but like if you go from the lore of the world, he didn't see that before the movie took place.
Right. That's because he had a Black woman protecting him. That's
so maybe we can see it. So maybe we can see it in the background. Like it's happening without him knowing, but it's happening in the background. But
yeah, it's been a great moment for people who are not typically a horror movie film enthusiast like myself. I'm scary. It's so funny because I love vampires, but some of the stuff be on the edge of like, is it too scary or not? Because I love the goofy ones that are like silly, everyday, casual.
So you like Twilight
a little bit, but like not so white. But like, you know, Vampire of the Week with Buffy, you know, where it's like, you know what's kind of to expect, but like this was definitely something different, and I love a good period piece.
Have you seen Interview with the Vampire?
Yes, that's my show.
Okay,
that was my movie when the first one with Brad Pitt and them, and then when they brought it to Louis down in the Bayou, I said, yes, come on.
Yeah, the television version is my favorite show that's on TV right now. Granted, they're on hiatus because they're filming season 3, but it's my favorite show that's currently on television. And yeah, Jacob Anderson that man is fine.
Period. I'm like,
period,
sir.
Point blank.
Period, point blank. Like, sir, holla at me if you're single, you know.
I mean, he's married. He just got a newborn, but I was just like,
oh, right, he sure does.
If y'all ever break up, right. Call me.
Right, like DM me, sir.
Exactly.
But yeah, that show is amazing, and even that opening of the show was so gory for me. I was like, "Ooh, okay, this is a lot," but I appreciate, all the challenges of making him not just Black, but also in a world where it's clear that he's a Black man. He's not just Black to be Black and just like walking around like everything's cool. There's things that come along with that are different for a white person living in that same time.
Very much so. And that's the thing that I was most fearful of with regard to that show, because I remember way back when, because I've been following the news, because I love Interview with the Vampire. Like you mentioned, the Brad Pitt movies. And plus, like, my very first supernatural love was vampires with the Lost Boys and everything like that. That's one of the reasons why I gravitated towards Buffy the Vampire Slayer, because it had vampires in the title. Right. And so Interview with the Vampire with Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise was one of my favorite movies growing up as a kid. And so when it was announced that Jacob Anderson was playing Louis, I was just like, how is this going to work out? Because like Louis is a slave owner. He had a plantation, like,
right. Like,
I made a video about this a while ago, and I regret it, because I'm just like, trust the creators. But I was just like, you're never going to hear me say something like this in like general day-to-day life. But this is like one of the rare and first times I'm going to say hashtag keep it white. Yeah, because I was just like, how are you going to make Luke, like, again, I was just like, again, he's a slave owner. So you're going to make a Black man a slave owner on a plantation. And then also, I was just like, with the way the dynamics between Lestat and Louis of them traveling the world and basically traveling the world as equals. And technically, they're not even equals because, granted, Lestat has a little bit more money, but still, Louis has no. So yeah, technically they're equals because they're both white men traveling the world with a whole bunch of money. If you add the dynamics of like Louis having money, like they're not traveling the world as equals because he's Black, so it also creates a power dynamic. And then Louis being a white man and then changing him as a Black, that's another power dynamic. Like it almost completely changes the story, and then also kind of makes it. But like they did their thing with that one.
Oh, absolutely. Because
I love because a lot of shows or movies, they will like race bend a character. Like they'll make like Nick Fury Black, cast Sam Jackson as Nick Fury, even though in the comics Nick Fury was a white man, but then they never address his Blackness for the most part. It's just the character's Black, but it's like, okay, what is it to be a Black man that's like the head of one of the highest governmental agencies of all, even higher than the government? Like you think about S.H.I.E.L.D. is even higher than the government. Like that would come into play. But a lot of times they don't address things when they do the race bending in movies or TV shows. But at least with this show, they addressed it at every single point.
Absolutely.
And I love that.
Exactly. Me too. Because I too was wondering. I was like, so how that's gonna work? But he's a pimp. I said, okay, well, there you go.
There you go.
That make, as far as like owning people, I'm
like, it doesn't take place in the 1700s. They updated it to like take place in the 1920s, and
yeah,
it's in the area of it's in a different area of New Orleans where there's still Jim Crow, but it's not really in that area. But once he steps outside of that, he still has to deal with it. So like, yeah, they did a really good job.
They did.
And I'm excited. I'm excited for season 3.
Me too. I can't wait to get there and see that. What's been the most exciting part for you since you started this pop culture critique life and opened up your safe, Gayven?
The most exciting part is just in the fact that I'm helping other people feel seen. Because like when I started creating the platform of Black Gay Comic Geek, I used to use the hashtag Black Gay Comic Geek. And if you looked at granted hashtags aren't really a thing anymore, so I don't really use that. But like if you looked up to the hashtag on Instagram, Black Gay Comic Geek, it was all me. All of it was my post. But if you click it now, you see other people that use the hashtag, Black Gay Comic Geek, or I get messages from people like, oh my God, thank you for your videos. You helped me feel, see, somebody said like, I wish I had somebody like you when I was, growing up, like you healed the Black queer nerd in me. Or whatever. Or, going to conventions and hearing somebody say like, I always wanted to, I would have liked to have done what you did or what you do, but I felt like nobody wanted to hear from me because I'm a, a black lesbian woman or whatever. But you showed me that, my voice is valid. And it's like, yeah, there are 8 billion people on the planet. Somebody wants to hear you. Somebody
Yeah.
wants to hear your voice. Somebody wants to hear your content. So make it. So like that, I think that's the most rewarding part of the journey. Like the fact that the safe Gayven isn't just, me just speaking into a camera, but it's actually people joining the community and being part of the safe Gayven and feeling seen and because representation equals normalization and
Yes.
representation matters.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, when you get emails from Disney, and like, I'm not going to deny that. But the fact that like people are, or even you hit me up like, hey, Michael, I enjoy your content. I want to speak to you, get interviewed. Like, what? You want to talk to me? Like, who? I'm just a guy that likes other guys and likes talking about nerd stuff. Like, why do you want to talk to me? But like, that's exciting because like it shows that something is hitting your that there is a message or there is a platform or there is a thing that's resonating with people. So I'm not just speaking out into the void.
Absolutely. No, you're not speaking out to a void, and it's exactly what you said. Representation equals normalization. And we need that. As Black people, for my Black queer family, we need that. We need to see it so we can be it. That's the saying,
Agreed. And it's a perspective that I don't often see, especially in this nerd, because like you have a lot of like movie reviewers, TV reviewers, comic book reviewers. A lot of them are white, straight white men. But then you do jump into the aisle and see like, Black people doing it. Majority of them are straight Black people. So even when going back to the conversation of sinners, one of the things that I mentioned, because a lot of people are talking about sinners, rightfully so, as they should, and the conversation should continue to go. But like, especially, Black people and things like that. But then one of the things that I said was missing in the conversation and that I made in one of my videos that's going pretty viral on Instagram. Funny, I have less followers on Instagram than I do on TikTok. But a lot of times, I notice a lot of times my videos will do better on Instagram than they do on TikTok. But that's a whole nother conversation. But one of the things that I mentioned in with regards to Sinners is the fact that it was a huge love letter to like blues music and Black people's contribution to the music genre. Like you think about that particular scene in Sinners, and I feel like enough time has passed where I could say this, but spoilers in case you haven't seen Sinners, but it's been enough time if you haven't seen Sinners at this point.
That's on you if you ain't seen it.
Yeah, that's on you at this point. But that music scene, where he was singing "Somebody Take Me in Your Arms Tonight," and you saw like all the different people from like the African dancers and hip hop and jazz, R&B, the girls twerking, like the whole pantheon of like electric guitar, like all of that rock. But like when you saw all of that, I was like, one of the things I was missing from that conversation, especially Black people's contribution in the music genre, is there weren't really any queer folk or queer recognition in Sinners. And the mother of blues was Ma Rainey.
Period.
And she's a Black queer woman, Bessie Smith, or, et cetera, et cetera. I'm drawing a blank on the names. But like
Rosetta Thorpe.
Well, yeah, Rosetta Thorpe and other people, like a lot of those, or I can't think of his name, but he's like, if I can't find no woman, bring me a sissy man. Like,
Little Richard.
No, not Little Richard. I referenced him in the video that I did, but I don't remember his name. But
I
like,
know who you're talking about because I heard the line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these are a lot of prominent Black people that had success in blues, and a lot of them are like one of the founder, like they started blues. So like, who else but Black queer people? Like in terms of like the idea of like, when you're going through all this oppression and things like that. Like even think about the start of blues when you think about the character of I'm drawing a blank on names all of a sudden, but that scene in the car where he was talking about his friends that got locked up.
Delroy Lindo's character.
Delroy Lindo's character. I can't think of the character's name, but like when he got caught up. Huh? Delta Slim. Yeah, there we go. When he was talking about his friends getting caught up, and then like he was so caught up with emotion, and they like kind of showed the origin of blues in that moment. Where he was so caught up with emotion, he couldn't talk anymore. He just kept shaking his head, and then the head shake just started to become a moan. He started moaning, and then then what's his face? Miles pulled out the guitar, and it's like that right there is the origin of blues. That's how blues started.
Yes.
And it's like, who else but also Black queer folk going through racism and then also homophobia can attest to that as well. And like I said, Ma Rainey is the mother of blues, and she's a Black queer woman who sang about, not liking men and wanting women, and was known for having women getting arrested for having lesbian orgies and things like that. So like, I brought that into the conversation, which is something that, a lot of people didn't have. And a lot of people got mad at me like, oh, why does everything have to be gay? Gay people are everywhere.
Right.
And like I said, the blues
have been around since the dawn of time.
Like I said, the blues was founded by Black queer people. Like, come on. Like I said, the mother of blues is a Black queer woman. Like, miss me with that bullshit. Or how do you know there weren't any gay people in the movie? Because they didn't say it. That's why. Like, what are you talking about?
Like, it wasn't clear.
Exactly.
It wasn't explicit. It's like you had everything else real clear. If they were there, it should have been and could have been very much.
Granted,
clearer.
Ryan Coogler is a Black straight man, so I'm not saying that it should be expected, but like I'm just saying, don't forget that this is also a thing.
Right.
We also contributed. We're here. We're queer. We're Black. We're not. So that's one of the perspectives. So that's basically, I say all that to say that's one of the perspectives that my content, does and helps people. And I've gotten a lot of, praise and pushback from videos like that.
Yeah, I definitely hear you there. But right now we're going to take a short break to catch up on seasons 1 through 7 of The Black Landscape. Tap into our YouTube channel. Be sure to leave your feedback in the comments and on our social media page. I do check them. So when we come back, we will hear more from Michael Simeon. Hello, landscapers. It's time to celebrate your journey with the Black Landscape. Our collection of water bottles, journals, stickers, and more is designed to resonate with your love for authentic storytelling. Whether you're sipping coffee from our mug or carrying your essentials in our tote, each item connects you to the vibrant community and supports a small Black business. Embrace the spirit of the Black Landscape and wear it proudly. Visit our store now and find your perfect piece of podcast history. Tap the link in the episode description to shop now. All right, y'all, we are back with Michael Simeon. What is GALECA, the Society of LGBTQ Entertainment Critics?
I think it stands for Gay and Lesbian Entertainment Critics Association.
Oh, okay. So what's that? How'd you get involved with them?
Honestly, they hit me up. they sent me they sent me a message on the executive director sent me a message on LinkedIn. It was just like, hey, Michael, we think you'd be a really great fit for GALECA. Is that something that you'd be interested in? And I looked it up and I was like, oh, didn't even know this was a thing. Hopefully, maybe this could get me more access to like other, because I remember before, because I used to get a lot of like screenings for like and red carpets for like Disney, but then things started shifting and changing, and then eventually they like moved me to the multicultural division. They were like, "Oh, you're." so the person that was my contact, he ended up going to Netflix, and so he was like, I'm going to put you with this new person. They're going to be your contact from here on out. And so I'm reaching out to this person. And then they were like, oh, we moved you to the multicultural division. And I'm like, okay. So he's like, reach out to them. And I'm like, all right, here we go. The black division. So then I reach out to them and they're like, yeah, are you do you work for like Essence or Ebony or an actual journalist or anything like that? And I'm like, no, but that didn't stop me from getting, I'm a content creator. I review movies, but that didn't stop me from getting access before. They're like, yeah, well, because you're not official, we can't give you anything anymore. Or whatever. And I'm just like, again, for like 3 years, I've been getting screenings and everything. Like, why now all of a sudden? And so I'm just like, being part of, I say all I like to say, hopefully being part of GALECA, that like gives me a little bit more weight to my name. And so I sent that person an email. I was like, hey, I'm part of this. Can I now, get some? He never responded to my email. I'm like, you.
Right. Like, all right, bro. Never mind. Next. I was like,
but it does make me a little bit more official tissue. I'm a member of.
Come on, official tissue. But yeah, that's a question that I actually want to bring. Like, how did you, there's a lot of, content creators who, are Black, and it's like, I see, folks like you, folks like Tiffy Star, folks like, all these other folks. And it's like, how do you get to, interviewing celebrities or going to or being, flown out for Comic Cons or these red carpet things? Like, do have the people come to you?
It's a little bit of both. So like I said, kind of like with GALECA and things like that. Yeah, sometimes you'll just get an email in your inbox. It's like, hey, we want to have you do this, or we're interested in have you do this, or you're invited to an early screening for this, or the red carpet premiere of this. Like my first red carpet email, first time on the red carpet was like 2 years ago, where I got Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. That was my first red carpet. It just got email in my inbox. Are you interested in going? And I was like, absolutely the fuck yes. Like, and it's funny, the year before I made a declaration, I was talking to a friend of mine. I don't know if you follow Fantastic Frankie, but I was like, Frankie, I don't know how, I don't know when. I was like, I don't know whose dick I need to suck.
Wait a minute. Hold on, look, E for explicit.
Sorry, but that's what I said. I was, of course, joking. I'm not trying to be on the casket couch or nothing like. Right. But I was just still like, I was just like making a declaration. But I was just like, I don't know what needs to happen, but we are going to go on a red carpet next year. I don't know how. I don't know, like the Little Mermaid. I don't know when. I don't know how. But I feel something starting right now. But I was just like, yeah. I was just like, it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
And then when I got that email, I was like, yeah. So I say I like to say, so yes, sometimes you do. And so yeah, graphic. That's I'm vulgar. Warning if you come over to my channel. But sometimes that happens, but other times, at least for me, more times than not, I usually just look up who I need to contact. Like for Sinners, I looked up like Sinners press person or whatever, media contact. And then I was like, hey, this is who I am. This is what I do. Here's my media kit. I would love to go to the red carpet world premiere of Sinners. I know it's going to be in New York, as one of the rare Black queer voices in like the movie review space and everything like that. I think it would be important to have my reaction and content out there as one of like the first early press, press screenings and things like that. And so then I got to go to the world premiere of Sinners, or like Netflix. I'm like, hey, Netflix, I see season 2 of Castlevania Nocturne is coming out. I love season 1. I reviewed season 1. Here's the link, for my review or whatever. Can I get an early access to season 2 so I can review it for my channel? And then I'll get an email. Here's this, screening for Netflix. Or I'll send an email, I'll be like, hey, and then I get ghosted. So like,
So it's kind of a hit. It's a hit or miss, but like
it's a hit or miss. But more times than not, it is a hit. I like to say. So a lot of times, yeah, you can expect to just get an email in your inbox, but a lot of times I look up what I need to look up, and then I'll send an email to who I need to send an email to.
So it sounds like a balance of doing you, and like kind of carving out your own special niche as you do, specifically as a Black queer person, and a mixture of like hard work of seeking out people.
Yes. Because like a lot of times people will just see the end result. They're like, oh, I want to how, or they'll be like, how are you on a red carpet or whatever? And it's like, because I put in the work.
Yeah.
Like I built a community of over 180,000 followers across all social media platforms. I put out movie reviews, or I release videos daily on TikTok or and Instagram. I put out reviews on a weekly basis on YouTube. Like I'm not just showing up on a red carpet without any type of clout. Like I've put in the work, and that work has been noticed and uplifted and solidified and praised. So, people are just like, oh, I want to do what you do. Okay, what do you have? Like, well, what videos do you got out there? Like, you only got one video and you posted it 3 months ago, then you can't expect to get an early screening for a movie. And you got that one video that was from 3 months ago.
Would that be your advice? Like post early, post often.
Yes. Post early, post often. and also find out what your niche is. Like, and not even just your niche, like, because you hear niche, like, oh, I want to review movies. But I mean, like, your lane of getting into that, like, what makes you different than me? What makes you different than Fantastic Frankie? What makes you different than Tiffy Starchild? What makes you different than Straw Hat Goofy? Because otherwise, if you're trying to be me, you can't be, because you're you and I'm me. You can't be me. But then if you're trying to be me, then what's going to stop somebody from just watching my videos?
Why not go to the source?
Yeah, like what is your lane into, like, what perspective, whether it's in not, and it doesn't even necessarily have to be in what you say, because sometimes, especially when it comes to other Black creators, a lot of times we're aligned and we have the same thought process, especially when it comes to like not to say all, and I'm not saying all Black people are monolith, but I'm saying like when it comes to some racial issues or some things we pick up, sometimes we'll pick up some of the same things that maybe white creators don't pick up, especially when it comes to like reviewing like Lovecraft Country or Watchmen or like Interview with the Vampire, these Black centric things. We'll pick up on a lot of the same cues and we'll bring them up. But it's also about how you say it, like me and Frankie might say the same thing, but how we say it are two different things. But then also as a queer person, I would see things and pick up on nuance of something that I'll see that Frankie wouldn't necessarily see. Like, for example, you get the Superman trailer that came out. And me being who I am, I was just like, with the Superman trailer, I was like, did y'all know that Superman trailer was actually pretty gay? Here's why. And then I'm like,
right.
But like somebody like she wouldn't be looking at that or whatever.
Like, where the Black women at? Why we ain't in this trailer?
Yeah. So like,
why we can't be Lois Lane, La La Lane?
So find out what makes you different.
That's solid advice.
And then don't just do it because you're wanting to get on a red or because you're wanting to be full-time. Because I'm not a full-time content creator. I would like to be one day, but like it may never happen for me. Granted, if it never happens, I will be sad and I'll be disappointed, but I still have enough love and passion for doing this that I'm like, I'll still be sad, but even if it never happens, I will still continue to do this because I enjoy it. So if you're doing it just because you want the glam and the glitz, then you're doing it it ain't gonna work, and you're doing it for all the wrong reasons. Part of why people come and gravitate towards my channel and to my content isn't just because of what I say, but they also feel the passion in my content, the passion in what I'm saying, and the energy that I express, because I do have passion for what I talk about and I love it. So like there's that too. If you're just doing it for the glitz and the glam, the quote unquote glitz and, because it all ain't glitz and glam. Like when you see me on red carpet, it's like, yeah, that's cute and all, but you're not seeing the fact that I had to, like, if I'm going to LA, like they didn't pay for me to be here. I had to spend money to get to LA and be in a hotel and all I got is I'm on the carpet, and also I have to spend money on the outfit and all that other stuff. So like, and then that doesn't necessarily lead to, it's like you're on the carpet, you get to take pictures, and then you go home, and then boom, like.
I'm like, okay, thanks, bye.
Yeah, like I didn't get a check cut for me or whatever. It's like, so it's not, is it really glamorous? Like I had to pay all this money to fly to LA, and granted, I'm not saying that to say I'm not grateful.
Right.
But I'm just saying sometimes people think it is a little bit more than what it is. Because really going to a red carpet, it's fun and great and all, but it's really just a carpet. It's really just like photo opportunities and things, like you get to meet the cast and crew and everything like that, but it doesn't actually like really like lead to anything. Like it's not going to further your career or anything like that.
All right. Yes. So emerging content creators, and that was also, you were speaking over me because even though this is season 8 of the podcast, I'm still developing myself as a content creator and, trying to really dive into my niche. So it's very helpful.
Season 8, that's something. And your 8 seasons, you have the work behind you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
And the ethic. So there you go.
I try. So this is, just one of my last questions for you. What is your superhero name and what is your superhero power, Michael?
My superhero name.
Yeah, I know you thought about it.
I never thought about a name. Power. I've thought about a power. I've thought about power. Like, what power would you want to have? But I've never thought about a name I would give myself. Which is fun, which is weird. You would think it would be the other way around. But in terms of power, I would instantly say like magic, like Scarlet Witch type of magic.
High level.
high level magic. And the reason for that is because it's the easy answer. Because with magic, you can do everything. With magic, you can give yourself super strength. You can control minds. You can read minds. With magic, you can time travel. You can fly. You can go out into space. With magic, you can move things with your mind. You could basically do everything with magic, as long as you have the training behind it and everything. Like that's why I'm like Scarlet Witch levels of magic, because like I can warp reality with magic, as with Wanda. Look at what she did in WandaVision. Created a whole town of construct, created her own imaginary kids and things like that. So like and plus, like, even though I mentioned like gravitating towards vampire, I love, like, I have a tattoo that says blood, sex, gore, and magic. Like that, I always say, like, that's the things that I love in my fantasy. Like, so I gravitate more towards the supernatural, witches and things like that. So I've always loved like magic, like Constantine.
Oh, yes. I would agree, and I'm gonna need you to get out my mind, because I also thought magic for myself, because it's like what you said. It's like because like X-Men are some of my favorite collective of animated people, and Storm has always been like my girl, goddess. But it's like, I'm like, man, if I was, a magical being, if I had superpowers, I'm like, I got to get beyond the weather. I got to get I'm like, I need to see what people thinking about. I need to be able to control what's happening around me, especially as a Black woman. I need to be able to keep y'all in check.
And the sad thing is, Storm does have access to magic, but they just never really focus on it.
I know, right? It's like, especially in these newer editions, I'm like,
they're slowly focusing on. They're slowly having her focus on magic now, or her new comic run that's out. Right. Like he's slowly having her tap into it.
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, magic is the answer for me. Like, even like stuff like Charm, like with Buffy, like my favorite character, I love Willow, and she was a magic user. Charmed, I love Charmed. Like I'm like, give me a series of like Black witches.
Yes.
In like New Orleans or whatever, something like that. Like,
absolutely. And
that's a TV show, because there is a book about Black witches in New Orleans that I read and I loved. It is called Blood Debt, so I definitely recommend check it out.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing that, and it's been great to hear from you. Thank you for chatting with me today.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
I have to come back to you with a name. I can't think of a
name. Tell the people again where they can find you, follow you, get into your reviews.
Yeah, you can find me all across social media: YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Threads, all of that stuff. Black Gay Comic Geek. Because I'm Black, I'm gay, and I like comics.
Thank you. Yeah, these links are going to be posted in our show notes. Tap in and support Black excellence. Thank you again so much for being with me here today. Any final words?
Make it blacker, make it gayer. Those are my final words.
I love it. Thank all of you out there for listening and supporting another season. Again, leave a review of the show on Apple Podcasts or in our comments on our YouTube page. This has been another episode of The Black Landscape with your girl, Andrea Spearman, where Black excellence is always trending.